Hi, thanks for joining us today at catspracticalcooking.com. If you've never been here before, we're really excited to have you. Stick around. Here at Cat's Practical Cooking, we love to do things practical. It's what we do. So sit back, relax, and we're going to show you some great dishes that you and your family can make together. I'm Chef Kenneth Ray, and this is Cat's Practical Cooking. And today we're going to be making chicken Alfredo with fettuccine noodles. Now, a lot of people, if they want to use fettuccine, they'd love to make it themselves. We have a great product called Carbonata, and it's from the Al Dente Pasta Company, and we'll leave you a link so you can go to the website. They make great noodles. It's reduced carb pasta. It's delicious, homemade, cooks in 3 minutes. And I know some of the chefs out there are like, oh, he's cheating, but you know, if you're in a pinch and you got to make something quick for the family, this is a great option. We're using Prego home-style Alfredo. And we could go through the process of making a bechamel sauce, is what Alfredo is normally used for, which would be a white roux and milk. But in this case, we're just gonna we're gonna doctor this up, so to speak. Now, for our chicken, I've marinated the chicken for about 2 to 3 hours. It's got balsamic Italian dressing in this great stuff by McCormick. I love McCormick. They make such good products all the way. Try their Béarnaise if you never have. I live by that. This is smokehouse maple, which is great. It has a great flavor to it, and if you don't have the time of smoking everything. Okay, so we're going to start with the noodles, but first we're going to cut up some of the ingredients to go into our Alfredo sauce. Like I said, we're going to doctor it up, so give me 1 sec. Okay, so we're going to cut up some ingredients to go into our Alfredo sauce. Now, before you do anything, any type of cutting, your cutting board should always have a towel down on it. Very important, that way your board does not slip and cut you. That over a little bit. Okay, now for the garlic, I'm not going to do up a whole clove, so we're using Monviso, and this is California heirloom peeled garlic. And what's so good about them, they come in pre-done cloves. So it saves me all the time of having to do that. So I'm going to do 1 clove and then a half of a yellow onion. And feel free, you can use more or less. I mean, it's whatever your particular taste is. Okay, so we got that. Then we're going to do our onion. And you know, you definitely, if you have gloves, wear them, because unless your significant other loves the smell of garlic and onion, that's always great to know. So I'm just going to cut these up. And it doesn't have to be perfect, you know, we're gonna blend it straight. This is just kind of a rough chop. What we're gonna do. Okay, great. So I've got my water going right now, and what that's gonna do, I'm just getting it going. I can always add more water to it. What you definitely wanna do is, this is vegetable oil. And look, some people say you don't need it, some people say you do, but you know what? Better to be safe than sorry. So I'm gonna put some oil in there. Just a little bit. I'm gonna do a little bit of salt. Let that come to a boil. The salt actually helps it come to a boil quicker. And maybe I'm just hallucinating, I'm not really sure. Not hallucinating. Okay, so we're gonna do our chicken next, so we'll meet you out on the grill, and then we'll show you how to sear it, and then we're gonna bake it. Okay, so we've got our grill all heated up. Now I've just got it raging high heat, because what we're gonna do is, because I don't have proper ventilation in most homes, I mean, if you do, all the better. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna sear it. And we're going to sear it on both sides, and then I'm going to finish it in the oven at 350 degrees. Now I've got gloves on because you don't want to cross-contaminate with any salmonella or anything like that. So now I'm going to put the chicken on the grill. You hear that good sizzle, so very good stuff, right? And you can see how each piece is a little bit smaller, and then I've got some of these little scraps, whatever. fall through. Okay, so take the plugs off here. Now, because each piece is smaller, that means that I'm going to have to adjust my cooking. And like I said, we're just searing it, which is why I have it so high. And before I put it on here, I used a little bit of vegetable oil, and I roughly just kind of greased down the grill. That way it'll be evenly coated. Put it right down there. Just kidding. And so you can see different hot spots, like this one isn't cooking as quick as this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust. Undo that. And after we do these on both sides, we're going to show you our herb garden, because we want you to be able to see how we plant stuff, and it gives us a lot of freshness for things. Okay. Good enough for me. I mean, it doesn't have to be charred or anything like that. Let's salvage those. Okay. Now we'll be right back, and we're going to show you our herb garden. Okay, stick around. Okay, so we're back in our herb garden. What we're going to do, and I use this for everything, from garnishes to actually using it for cooking. So what I do is I've got a little bit of sweet basil. Cut that out. A parsley, which is always good. We've also got rosemary, which is, we're not really going to use it for this dish, but you know what? Let's use it for this dish. Okay, now meet us back inside. What we're going to do is we're going to put that chicken in the oven and show you how to make the Alfredo sauce. Okay, so everything's starting to come together, which is great. We've got our chicken. Now I'm going to put this into the oven. And this is 350 degrees. Okay, so we've got that in. Now I took some of the herbs that you saw us collect, and I've got this. We're going to save that for something special. But this is the parsley and oregano that I've got, and I've also reserved just a little bit for garnish. So if you come right over here, this is what we're going to use for our pasta. Now we've got our prego, like we talked about. We're just going to put that in. Boom, bechamel. Just kidding, Renzi's made of traffic. We're just going to stir that in, just thin it out a little bit. So our chicken is probably only going to take about 3 minutes, if that. Make a mess. Okay, so that's nice and hot. We'll start with our onion. Go ahead and put our garlic in there so we can release some of that flavor. Oh man, I wish you could smell this right now. It's got such a robust, it's got the caramelized onions that we're going to have, and then you've got that nice garlic that's all fresh. Chicken's looking good, still got a couple minutes. When I was little, my mom would never let me flip stuff in a pan, so what she would do is she would give me a piece of toast and flip it over back and forth in a cold pan, which didn't actually work out too well, but as I got better, I can flip just about anything now, from 4 omelets to you name it. Okay, so our sauce is starting to come together. And you can really smell that rosemary too, and I didn't even have to cut it. So we're going to put some butter in here. Kind of deglaze, so to speak. Now, if you were cooking a meat, you would cook it, you would leave all that protein. When you take it out, you get a wooden spoon, and you would just scrape the bottom of it, and that way you can deglaze it with the wine. I like cream sherry, marsala. They work really good, especially on chicken, but they have the KISS method, keep it simple, stupid, so I'm not going to add a bunch of things into it, Okay, and see how that's got a nice brown on it? So that's done. So we're going to put our butter in there. This means to finish with butter, what they say in French is montpommier. Gotcha. pull that out. Right into there. Mix that right in. Okay, so I like to add some black pepper into it. It's about 2 tablespoons. And it'll start to thicken at 165 degrees. Well, how do you know it's 165 degrees? Well, you bring it to a boil, that's 212. Turn it down just a little bit, that's your simmer. And that's about 180. If you're poaching eggs, that's the degree you would want to use. And this, we're going to reduce the heat. All right. So that's going. Now, while that's going, we're going to put our pasta. Like I said, the Al Dente Pasta Company makes a great product, so it's not going to take very long. Okay, now you keep an eye on my pasta for me and my sauce. Let me grab something out of here. Right now. Okay. Can't forget our strainer, most important thing. Now our sauce is slowly going to thicken. You can see it start to mix together. Okay. And we're just going to wait for that to thicken up. Now while that's thickening, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull this chicken out. Like I said, some of these pieces are smaller than others. So that one big piece we had, we're going to let that go for just a little bit longer. With chicken, the last thing you ever want to do is serve it raw, so when you're not sure, let it go. Won't hurt. I'd rather have fried chicken than raw chicken. Don't worry. Now a lot of that residual heating is that chicken's going to keep cooking while it's sitting there. And that's what they call resting, which is super important because it allows the moisture to kind of suck back in, and that'll give you a much fresher product. I had the pleasure of working with a master chef. His name is Michel Marseille. He lives in Hammond, Louisiana. He runs the Michel Inn. It's a great bed and breakfast if you're ever thinking about traveling to Louisiana. Hammond has some of the best strawberries in the entire country. But he's just the most fantastic guy. He did out of white chocolate, he did a rendition of the Sistine Chapel, or I'm sorry, the Last Supper, which blew my mind a little bit. That's great. All right, and our noodles are almost done. They've got about 45 seconds. Now, all of my scraps that I've got here, I'm gonna save that for soup, stocks, and sauces. So right there, or my compost pile, which works really good. As we have chickens and we get our own eggs. So that works out really well. Okay. That's done together. Our sauce is nice and thick. We use Kraft Parmesan and Romano cheese. A little bit of that in there, give it some creaminess. And that bitterness, that sharpness of the cheese will help that go a long way. Maybe a little bit more black pepper, we can put that on the finished product. All right, now we're gonna put it all together. Stay right with us. Hi. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take the chicken and we've let it rest for a couple minutes. That's perfect, judgment. Funny how that works. Okay, so we're gonna let that bad boy go back in the oven, but for presentation, I'm gonna go ahead and do this up for you. Now please use tongs, this is very hot. You got chef hands, unfortunately. I feel nothing. Okay. I'm gonna take our noodles and toss that. We're gonna take a little bit of garnish. Not too much. You don't wanna overdo it. That is a no-no. Keep it simple. Okay. And there you have it. That's chicken Alfredo with fettuccine noodles made in a snap. I'm Chef Kenneth Ray. Thanks for putting up with me. I hope you learned something from it. Please leave some comments. Let us know what you'd like to see. Visit us at catspracticalcooking.com.